So one issue slash question that I see a lot is actually how to do your headings. And so there's two kind of different subsections within this that we're going to go over. So we have the heading at the top with your name, contact information, all that good stuff. And then the subheadings, so the ones that show the sections of your resume. So.
All right, so number one, I get that one. So contact details, super duper important, okay? Now, the number one thing I see wrong with contact details, although I do see some where they actually don't put their name on there, which is the first problem. When you do put it on there, some people will put it in a header or a footer of the Microsoft Word document. Now, the problem with that is that not all ATS systems can actually read headers and footers. So basically, you're giving them a document with a bunch of information and no contact details. So they're like, cool, this person applied. I'd love to talk to them. Have no idea who they are. So that's not something you want happening. So instead of putting your stuff, I mean, obviously, put your information at the top. That's totally where you need to put it, not in the side, not in the bottom. Put it at the top, but don't put it in a header of a Word document. You know, as far as information you need, obviously your name, email, phone number, LinkedIn URL. That's a really big one. And then, you know, honestly, I would say city and state's zip code. Now, some people have been arguing a lot recently, not in a bad way, just in a, oh, should we put this or should we not, including your street address. And there's some that are for it and some that are against it. I'm honestly kind of on the fence, and I think it really depends person to person and situation to which you're applying for. So if you are applying out of state, go ahead and put it in. You know, if you're looking to relocate, go ahead and put it in. Let it, you know, it's not like, oh, they're going to mail you something, because it's very unlikely to happen. They're going to email you, they're going to call you, but it just has your contact details on there. They're going to create a profile about you, so they're going to ask for that anyway, so might as well give it to them. Now, the argument for putting it on there, if you're applying to the same location that you live in, is that they might look at it as a bias, like thinking, oh, they're an hour out of commuting times. Well, that might make them unreliable getting here because traffic's a pain, things like that. So if you're applying really within a certain your region of where you live, go ahead and leave it off. Put your city and state. And zip code, and just let it be like that. They'll ask for it later. It's not like you're trying to hide it. Just, it's not necessary at the front, especially if you live far away, because you just don't want to have that kind of a negative bias going into it in case they do look at it for that kind of reason.
Exactly. So then we have the subheadings. So the first one, of course, needs to be your job title. What do you do? What kind of position are you applying for? And that's going to change for each application, because of course no two jobs that you're applying for is going to be the exact same thing. And so that's just at the top. Make sure it stands out, because recruiters aren't going to want to look through your resume to find what kind of job you're looking for. They just want to know. They make their job easier. So having that up there is really good. And then of course, just throughout your resume, the different sections, so your career history, your education, and if you have certifications or different courses that you've taken, you can put that in with the education as well, because it's all education, it's all training. And so, making sure that you have all of those little subheadings within your resume will also be really helpful, so that the recruiters, hiring manager, whoever it is, can find those sections easier, because sometimes when it's all jumbled up, you can't even really tell just at first glance. So they'll have to search through it, and that's something I really like to do. But making sure you definitely have the, your career history, and then even if you want to, if you have some older experience that may not be as relevant, but it still means to your industry, you can even create another other relevant experience section, and just list that there, just to make sure you have it in there, just so they know. So having that, and then of course if you have any awards or anything like that, technical skills as well, just make sure you include all of those, and make sure everyone knows where they can find it on your resume, because it'll make it so much easier.
Yeah, it's really crucial to, number one, make sure it's readable by ATS. You want them to know your name. That's a really good resume. And number two, you want them to be able to read it. Once once HR and recruiters get a hold of it, you want them to be able to look at this and be able to, eyeball it really well, and really, see the parts that, that are really crucial for the position at hand. So yeah, doing all those subsections and making it clear and easy to read is ideal. So follow that. You will be great with your resume.